Hey guys, what's going on? APL here, APL Fisher on Xbox Live, and I want to start a new series here because I've been getting a lot of messages lately from various people that are just getting into Counter-Strike or already pretty familiar with Counter-Strike. They wanted a series from me for the average player, things you can do to improve, things you can do to better your setup to give you a better chance of success in this game as far as just being a better player and learning a little quicker and making sure you're not nerfing yourself by doing by your setup and that kind of stuff. And then also just as you play the game in a public server setting, what are things you can do to make sure that you're going to be a valuable teammate. Because this community can be a little tough. People have been playing this game for 11 plus years, not Counter-Strike Source in total. That came out in '04, but Counter-Strike and Counter-Strike 1.6 and Counter-Strike Source. So there is a very high learning curve, and I understand that. I sometimes in my videos I post stuff and I expect everyone to know what I'm talking about, but I realize sometimes I need to go back and just start with the basics. So this is going to be a pretty basic guide. If you are a PC player, you probably know most of this stuff. I'm hoping you stick around though, because you might glean a few things from this that you haven't thought about before. And I'm going to talk about my setup, kind of how I have my options in Counter-Strike configured and that kind of stuff. But I want to do a quick disclaimer. This is not so that you can mimic my setup. Counter-Strike is a game, and I would say almost any game on PC, it's very important to find a setup that works for you. I can only give you kind of a roadmap as far as what I use, but I mean, I've been using this setup for, or how I have things configured for, 5+ years of playing this game, more than that probably. So, this is what I'm used to. If you want to take a few things that I say and try to implement them, that's great, but it's not the end-all or end-all, you know what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind. But real quick, I want to go over what I have for my keyboard settings here. And like I said, it's going to be pretty basic, but just want to go over it. I pretty much have everything standard for my setup. The only thing, so you can see all this stuff, is standard. I have crouch or duck as control still. Some people will switch that to the C key on their keyboard. They feel like it makes it easier for them to hit it with their thumb or whatever. For me, I'm not a big fan of that. I use the pinky and I crouch with control. I've just gotten used to it that way. Some other stuff like if you're just getting into Counter-Strike, you can drop your current weapon to pick up another weapon, and the actual command to do that is G. So I mean, if you've ever gone through and looked at some of this stuff, I know sometimes when you just jump into the game, you don't really take the time, but that's important. Voice communication is default to K. I typically am in a Ventrilo server, and what Ventrilo is, it's a third-party voice communication software, and basically it's a lot clearer and less it's a lot clearer than in game. But if you're in a pub and you're not playing with your friends and you're not on a Ventrilo server, I would bind this to, if you have a mouse, bind it to a mouse key, like if you have mouse buttons on the left side of your mouse or on the right side or at the top. A lot of people will bind this to mouse 3, which is if you have the scroll wheel at the top of your mouse, you can click in and voice communicate that way. So I'll just show you real quick. If I edit this key, I just changed that to mouse 3, and that is me clicking in the scroll wheel, and that's a very easy way to be able to communicate while moving and talking to your teammates in this game. Because trying to go over to the K key really isn't practical, so I would definitely recommend you change that if you are planning on communicating with your teammates. I'm going to edit that back to K, though. Standard radio messages, those are just pre-built audio commands that most people don't use. You don't have to worry about that. Buy menu is B. Obviously, when you're in the buy zone at the beginning of the round, you hit B to bring up those menus. Use items. E is to defuse. If you're on counter-terrorist, it's also to open doors and shut doors on both sides. You have the flashlight, which you don't really ever need. Turn night vision on. You should not be using night vision. Spray your logo. In Counter-Strike, you have a... let me go real quick to the multiplayer tab. You can import a spray. Basically, you can just upload a picture, and then when you hit the T key, you can spray that logo, and basically, just spray paints whatever surface you're on. So sometimes when you kill someone, you'll put the spray down on their face. It's kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of a cool little thing. Another benefit of PC gaming, being able to upload anything, and you'll see a lot of pornographic spray logos, which, that's PC gaming for you. What is some other stuff that's important? One thing you won't see here, I think it shows jump as being bound to space, which is default, but I also have jump bound to my scroll down. So like if I'm scrolling, so on my scroll wheel, where I just did with that mouse through where you can click in, if I scroll down, that's also jump. And the reason for that is when bunny hopping was real big, which it still is moderately big, but in competitive leagues they limit that. You can't really bunny hop anymore like you used to be able to. and I'll go over bunny hopping. I know a lot of you are probably like, I thought you were going to keep this simple. But bunny hopping is just a method that where you strafe back and forth and can pick up a massive amount of speed if you jump at the right time. So maybe I'll go over that at some point. But I've gotten so used to jump being on my scroll down button on my mouse that I also have that bound, but it won't show up here. I had to actually do that through console, and I can show you at some point how to do that. We're going to go over as much as I can think of to go over here. And then I want to go real quick in the advanced option. Now, this is a tip that oops, no, that's not here, actually. Hold on. But real quick, too. So this developer console, if you go into the advanced options in your keyboard settings here, you want to make sure to enable developer console. And that basically is this right here. If I hit my key or my tilde or whatever that key is, the key next to the 1 button on your keyboard on the far left, that'll bring up the developer console right here. And you can see this brings up it's basically a log of everything that's going on with the game. So you can see I think most of you will get all this stuff. The cheat C bars try to enable and it doesn't let you. Blah blah blah. All this is pretty much mumbo jumbo. But you can type in commands. So as you can see down here, all the commands in the game. So basically, this is just a GUI or a graphic user interface for interfacing with your config. Your config is your settings and stuff like that, but you can actually change all that stuff right through here if you know the commands. So you can just see just all the CL commands in general. There's tons of different commands. Like you can just start typing a letter and it will start filling them in. So you can just, pretty much any setting you want to change, just look up the command, look up Counter-Strike console commands or Counter-Strike Source console commands, and you can change them there. I'm going to get more advanced into that later, but that's one thing that will be good to enable. I would do that right away. Let's go over real quick my mouse here. I don't want to keep this too long. This is almost around 7 minutes. But my mouse sensitivity is on usually around 2. It's a little high. Probably buffed it because I was playing another game. Your mouse sensitivity, all this stuff, you don't want to reverse mouse, obviously, unless you're playing a flight simulator. I don't know. For me, that doesn't make any sense. Mouse filter, most of this stuff doesn't matter. Mouse acceleration, I don't even have checked. None of that stuff. I play with a Logitech MX518 mouse, and I play with no mouse drivers. And the reason I don't play with any mouse drivers on this, I just play with the standard Windows driver when you plug in the mouse, is because when I would go to LANs to play competitively, a lot of times LAN centers won't let you install any drivers. They make you use they used to make you just for to keep the game fair, and sometimes people would sneak in cheats and stuff through that if they brought the driver on a USB stick. So to keep that pretty much fair, either they supply the drivers for you. Sometimes those drivers are outdated, so you'd be using an incorrect driver. So this way, it's the safest way. When I went to play competitively, I would just plug my mouse in, and I knew I would be good to go, and I wouldn't have to mess with much of anything. The sensitivity would be what I'm used to at home. Because a lot of times you have to play on tournament PCs, and you can't bring your PC. So that's the reason for this. I don't recommend necessarily playing with no drivers. I would install the drivers that come with your mouse, get the latest update from the website of whoever your manufacturer is. But for me, I got used to it without any drivers. So that's just me. I play on about 2.0 on about a 1600 DPI. And DPI stands for dots. What is it? It's dots per inch, and that basically relates to how the mouse reads, along with the movement on the screen. Once again, this is probably going to be way more advanced for people that don't really know much about PC gaming. But typically, the higher the DPI on a mouse, the smoother and the more accurate that it is. So I play on 1600. There's mice that are much higher than that, but that's just what I'm used to. And for me, I get all the precision that I need. So I really recommend the MX518 is a really good mouse. It's a moderately priced mouse, and a pretty good one. So that's all I want to cover right now. We're going to go over the rest of the stuff here in the next video. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know in the comments about further things you'd like me to talk about. I'm going to try to cover as much as I can before we jump into the game and give you some actual practical tips as far as playing the game itself. All right, guys.